We start the episode with our group chasing Agregor, who had appeared a bit smaller than before, as he was running towards some sort of strange carved stone. And he called out something as glowing letters began to appear around them, making it open like a stone door. Ship barked his name and blasted Agregor in the back with an explosive, accidentally shooting them through the door, making it begin to close on them. Ben and Kevin tried to keep the door open, but it was no use. It had closed up, and Gwen tells them there's no telling where Agregor was now because that was the door to anywhere, and there's no telling where he went without knowing what the true name of where you were going. Ben asked if she means the glowing runes, then tells them that wouldn't be a problem because Ship records everything he sees, but only when in spacecraft form unless asked to keep an eye on things. They ask Ship to show them the runes, and he projects a hologram of them onto the door, though Gwen has a bit of difficulty with the pronunciation. However, she does know someone that could help. Ben says that it seems like they were going to visit their old friend Charmcaster, then weren't they? And Gwen tells them that yes, they could use her help on this. Gwen says to wait there as she teleported away, and we cut to Charmcaster studying a large book before Gwen appears asking for her help with something. The large book closes and drops as Charmcaster then tells Gwen to think fast and blasts her with an energy ray, which Gwen puts up a shield in response, and CC tells her good reflexes, Gwendy. Gwen is explaining what's going on as she and Charmcaster are having their little fight. However, unlike in the show, it's not because of hatred. Rather, CC just wants to see how well Gwen's been keeping up with her training, though she is listening to what Gwen has to say as they are fighting, and Gwen is telling her about Agregor and about how she needed her help, as there was a more complex word she hadn't learned to properly pronounce yet involved. We then cut to Ben and Kevin sitting around until Charmcaster and Gwen teleported back, and CC greeted the two of them, glad to see Ben again, then bonked him on the head for freaking Gwen out so much with these life and death situations he's put himself in. Afterwards, asking them to show her the runes, and Chip projected them onto the door again for them to see. Charmcaster says that's Ledger Domain, where she's originally from, and pronounced the secret true name as the door opened up. She suggested that Ship stay behind as magic and technology don't really get along very well, and they all went on inside looking around. She says that this place is a lot smaller than the last time she was here. CC asks Gwen how she feels, and she answers that she'd feel a lot more powerful. So she explains that all magic in the universe flowed from this dimension, and that the Alpha Rune was the source of it all, and that Adwecha had it around their neck. Ben tells her to lead the way, and they began walking over to where they were. They'd been attacked by some of the rock creatures, with Ben changing into Wrath instead of Jet Ray because Charmcaster said not to pick anything that flies, and thankfully were able to make quick work of them. When asked why Charmcaster didn't order them around, she explained that the ones that followed her did so because she freed them from Ledger Domain under magical contract. They were soon attacked by Adwecha, who called them thieves, for all that live steal mana from them, though Ben, still transformed into Wrath, yells at him, telling them that if all living things are born with mana, then that means Adwecha is the thief for wanting to hog it all to himself, and he was going to beat him into the dirt and take the Alpha Rune himself to make sure everyone has mana. They didn't like that, but Wrath broke through the ground, trying to entangle them like vines, and proceeded to break a path through all the ground that was rising up towards them, with the others following him until he timed out. They'd continued onward and managed to get to Adwecha's castle, where they'd had a strange green creature with large teeth attack them. Ben changed into Arctic Guana and called out to Kevin to get that thing's mouth open. With a nod, he'd absorbed the material of their teeth and forcibly held open their mouth as Ben blasted them with ice, filling it and freezing them from the inside out, and Kevin let go, then smashed the ice, breaking apart the creature in the process. Adeweicha appeared angry that they'd killed their pet, and Ben says that they're going to usurp their throne too. Though the magical tyrant says that he'd quelled all those who opposed his reign before, and they would be no different, but Charmcaster blasted them, which actually managed to hurt their arm a bit. They told her that was impressive, but if her entire race couldn't stop them, then what chance did they have exactly? Charmcaster asked Gwen if she was up for showing off just how much better she'd gotten with her training, holding out her hand, and Gwen nodded, grabbing it. The two hold their hands up together and at the same time call out a spell, blasting the magical tyrant into the stone wall of their castle. The magical tyrant tells them that all magic is his to command, to which Ben says, "Magic maybe, but try this," and hits the Ultimatrix symbol, changing into way big. Adeweicha flew up, asking what sorcery was this, and in response, Ben clapped his hands together, making them drop to the ground before slamming his fist into them, and pinning them down, calling out Charmcaster to get the rune. Though before she could, Agregor had appeared and snatched it from around their neck, holding it up, as it changed into a piece of the map of infinity before vanishing. Adeweicha called out to the guards as the ground began to shake, and they had to make a break for it. Some flying stone bat-like creatures attacked, and Waybig blasted them with a cosmic beam, getting rid of them fast. Ben tells Charmcaster they need the door to anywhere, and they'd beat Agregor, then take down Adeweicha. Nodding, she created the door to anywhere and opened it up back on Earth, with Ben hitting the Ultimatrix symbol, changing back to human as they began to run through. Charmcaster hugged Gwen and told her to take care of the boys, then shoved her through, and the door began closing, choosing to stay behind in order to free her people, and the door shut on them. Kevin remarks that makes 2 that Agregor has, and Ben says that without all 4 he's stuck. They still had one piece that he couldn't get, while Gwen says that the runes were all gone. Charmcaster stayed behind to free her people. Now that the Alpha rune was gone, she had a chance.